Hey guys, welcome back to the Gloria Living channel. My name's Hannah and today we are talking about what we are going to grow in our garden. I'm going to show you the seeds we bought and all the exciting things we plan to grow, share some of the varieties we love with you guys, and yeah, just have fun talking about the garden. Okay, let's go check it out. So guys, we are actually outside today. It is beautiful. Even in the shade, it's just a gorgeous day. It's like mid 60s and it's just really, really enjoyable to be outside. So it's just a beautiful day to sit out here, have a little garden chat, and maybe give you even a little update on some of the things that we have going around here in our prep for spring, a little update on our fruit that we have growing in our buckets, and yeah, just talk about what we will be growing this year here at our rental house as well as at our family's house. Okay, so like I've said before, we rent, so we have a lot that we try and grow in at our rental house in buckets. We have a larger garden where we grow in ground at a family's house who's let us use big space for a large garden, and that's where we do a bulk of our growing. So I'm going to share with you the stuff we'll be growing over there, and we have a lot of fruit that we grow at our rental house and things that we have in buckets and things that we've been working on the past year. And so I'll share a little bit update on that because those are just doing great and they've survived the winter really well, and I'm just really pleased with that. So, but anyways, I want to talk about the seeds we're growing because guys, it's that time of year. We're about to start seed starting in our house, and I want to share with you some of the things that we'll be growing because I think there's a lot of fun varieties that we would like to share with you guys. The wind is starting to pick up, so we'll see if we last out here if we end up in the kitchen. Okay, so if you guys have not seen this is my seed starting box. I love this, or my seed box, and in here I just have a treasure trove of goodies, and you can hear some loose peas in the bottom there. And I have some of my plans here on my sticky notes on the inside. Oh, and the wind's gonna blow them away. So I've got everything planned out because we have 78 buckets that we have at our house that are going to be filled. Many of those are already filled with fruit, and a lot of those also are going to be filled with vegetables that we'll be growing this year. So I have to kind of keep organized to know what's going where. But I'm gonna share with you what we'll be growing and start off with some basics, share with you some varieties we've tried, we've liked, we haven't liked, and maybe give you some ideas or inspiration for your garden. Okay, let's start with the beloved tomato. What type of tomatoes are we growing in our garden? Well, we have a wide variety. I'd say a wide variety. We've got 4 different varieties of tomatoes that I'll be growing in the garden this year. Some of those are gonna just be in buckets here for the kids, and some of those will be for kind of mass growing for salsas, sauce, things like that. So I'll show you some of the pictures because some of these seed packets do not have pictures of what these tomatoes look like. So I'll definitely share some of those on the screen here. But one of the ones we're gonna be growing is a Juliette. So our Juliettes are cherry tomatoes. They're supposed to be a really good cherry tomato. And I just love having cherry tomatoes around for the kids to be able to pick and eat just right on the spot. And so that's one of the reasons why I really like growing cherry tomatoes, mostly just for snacking while you're working, while the kids are working, while you're walking out the door, while you're playing outside. I love that for the kids. And so Juliette cherry tomatoes is what we're going to be growing for our cherry tomatoes. Last year we did these small ones just called Sweeties, just because I had to last minute pick them up, and that's what I saw at like a big box store. But we're going to try Juliette this year. I've heard good things. Another thing that we will be growing for our paste tomato, so this is for our sauces. Paste tomatoes have a lot less of juice in them, and have more flesh in them, so they're good for making sauces, so you have to do less work of thickening up that sauce, and it's less watery. The Opalka tomato is what we're going to try. I went to go try this last year, and I messed up my seedlings, and so when I went to replace it, I didn't get this. I got Aroma, and the Aromas I got were just too small. They were a pain to deal with, and this one is bigger. This can get up to 6 inches long, and that's the type of paste tomato you want. You want a big paste tomato, and you think it doesn't matter, like a new gardener may think, oh, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit smaller, who cares? Except you have to do more work for what you're picking. So if you pick 5 6-inch tomatoes versus 5 2-inch tomatoes, that's a big difference. We're also going to grow a couple sliced tomatoes. One of the ones that I'm going to grow is a hybrid that I just think I've heard that is really productive, and it's called the Jet Setter. And so I specifically wanted to order these this year. A channel that I love to watch grows these, and I really wanted to give them a shot because they're supposed to be really productive, and I want something that's really productive. So it's called the Jet Setter, and it's just a beautiful kind of iconic tomato, and I'm hoping that it'll give really, really good production and be really disease resistant. And lastly, for tomatoes, a beautiful heirloom, a classic for the garden, the Cherokee purple tomato. So I'm excited about that. That's just supposed to be one of like the best tasting tomatoes you can grow. So I'm excited to eat that, to slice that, to have that on sandwiches, and just to enjoy its beauty in the garden. Also for tomatoes, I was sent a free packet of, it's literally called a tomato 42 day. It's from Seeds and Such, and it's supposed to be like a really fast producing tomato. I don't know whether I'm going to grow it. I have the seeds for it. It's supposed to be like a fast aroma. We'll see if that lands in a bucket or something just for fun. But you know, it might be good for just a little slicer, something for salads that I can grow that's small for at the house. But we'll see if it lands. It's precious real estate in the buckets at the house, so who knows whether it'll make the cut. All right, let's move on to peppers, okay? Peppers are also a classic garden staple. And so last year was our first year that we just got a really amazing crop of peppers. You know, we did bell peppers and we also did like an Italian frying pepper. What I realized, which was I was sad about, is that I didn't have and order the Italian frying pepper I grew last year, and I didn't save seeds. I thought I did, and I guess I did not save those seeds, so I don't know what happened. I thought I did, and I couldn't find them, and so that was disappointing because they were super prolific. They weren't like a flavor that would change your life. They were great for frying up, putting in sauce, putting in chili, things like that. They were not like a really good snacking pepper, but I'll show you what they were because they were crazy prolific. And so if you want a really, really prolific pepper, then this is the one for you. It's just called an Italia pepper. I got these from Seed Savers Exchange. I really like Seed Savers. I don't think there's any in here. I looked and I couldn't find, there's like no seeds in here. We were mostly picking them green. They do turn red and they're really pretty when they're red. But you know what? It's supposed to be sweet. We were obviously when you pick them green, they're not going to be as sweet. We wanted to get more, and so anyways, if you're just looking for a good frying pepper that's going to be prolific, this is good for that. It's not, I would not say a great snacking pepper, but maybe that was just for us. So that is what we grew last year, and unfortunately don't have seeds for this year, but I just want to share that with you. But this year we're growing a pepper that I found on Baker Creek. I was looking for something sweet and that my kids could enjoy and snack on, and so this is the one we found. Guys, I don't even know how to say that. That is the kind that we're growing, whatever that is. You know, I don't even know how to say it. I'm not even going to try. It's supposed to be a Polish one, so that's why I can't even get it. But it's supposed to be really sweet. In fact, it's kind of even described as sugary, sweet, and even citrusy. So I'm hoping that these will be delicious. My kids love peppers and snacking on them, so I have high hopes for this. Normally for like a bell pepper, I've grown California Wonder, and to be honest, I think I've said this in another video, I haven't found the wonderfulness of like the California Wonder. I haven't had as good of luck. They're kind of smaller. It might just be my growing conditions, lack of attention to them. But I'm gonna try these this year and hopefully have good success with those. As well, we're gonna grow some of these are called nadapinos. These are jalapenos without the heat. They have the flavor of a jalapeno, but they are not hot. And my husband really wanted to grow these and try these, be able to enjoy the flavor of the jalapeno without having to deal with the intense spice of it. But because I like pickled jalapenos and I like a little bit of spice, I'm also growing jalapenos. I was in the store today and I went by the seeds because there were a few seeds that I wanted to pick up that I did not get online and I wanted to just get in the store. And I saw this and you know, it was $2.46 for a packet of jalapeno peppers. And I just thought, why would I go to the nursery and buy a $3 jalapeno plant when I could buy the seeds for cheaper? Yes, I don't have to do that work, but I'm already starting a bunch of seeds anyway, so it's really just popping a seed in soil. So I just did that. So we're going to be growing jalapenos as well as nadapinos separately, and that way maybe we can even save some seeds for next year. Okay, let's talk cucumbers. That's another garden staple in my mind. Last year we grew the Market More for like fresh eating cucumbers, and it was okay, but I wasn't like in love with it. But I was just gonna grow it again this year because I still have seeds for those. And you know what? I was talking to one of my really best friends, and we were talking about cucumber seeds, and she pulled a cucumber out of her fridge. She goes, "I want to grow a cucumber that looks like this. Do you know what kind it could be?" And so I started kind of like looking up on Baker Creek, something I could find that would be comparable to that. And once again, cannot pronounce this, but I ran across these cucumbers, and Jabai, I'm not sure, and I certainly cannot pronounce the second part, but it's a Japanese cucumber, and it says says, they literally describe it as the sweetest cucumber they've ever tried. So I think that's absolutely worth a shot. And so we're going to be growing those as well for snacking. Okay, and last year for pickling, we grew the Russian pickling cucumber, and that is also from Seed Savers Exchange. It's an heirloom. I love that. This was also an heirloom. Both the cucumbers are heirlooms. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great cucumber. Super prolific. Super prolific. So like overwhelmingly prolific. Ooh, feel that wind coming. It's wild. Hopefully it's not too loud on the microphone. But it was, I mean, our cucumbers were so prolific last year. We just like backed off and let them die. Like they were like overwhelming us with cucumbers. We couldn't give enough away, which is kind of why I want to grow this other one that's smaller and sweet, because, you know, it gets hot just like like everywhere in this country in the summer pretty much, but you know, in Tennessee it's gonna get really hot, and that can really make your cucumbers bitter. And so I was really going for a sweet one. Also, the sweet ones for the fresh eating, I love the idea of my kids, of growing those in buckets and my kids coming out and being able to pick those and eat those and snack while they're running around. I love that. So I think we're gonna really enjoy the cucumbers we're growing this year, and I'm just excited to see how it all comes out. All right, let's talk squash, pumpkins, gourds, things like that. So one of the things that we will be growing this year, and I have never actually really grown these. I think maybe one of year I planted direct sown and it didn't come up, but we're gonna really we've learned since then. So we're gonna do some butternut squash, and this is called the Waltham butternut squash. I think it's a pretty popular variety. I'm really excited about it. I love roasted butternut squash, and if I can get my husband to eat squash, then that's like a win for me, and he likes butternut squash, so we're doing it. Also, you can roast up the seeds of butternut squash. So delicious. Other squashes too. Such a yummy snack. My kids really like that. You put some salt on it. They thought it tasted like popcorn. Like, let's do it, you know? Okay, another thing I think should be in people's garden is zucchini. Not everybody likes zucchini. Some people only like it with chocolate chips and a bread. I get it. But I like zucchini, so there'll be a few of those here. And then we're doing the heirloom Black Beauty. It's just a normal zucchini. We'll also be growing some daisy gourds. Those will be fun. Those will just be for decoration, but we'll be growing some daisy gourds to decorate the house, hopefully if we can time it right in the fall. And then I really want to be able to do this. This is the Big Max pumpkin. It's supposed to be able to get up to 50 pounds. And guys, when I see this, like, this isn't for me as much as it is that I want to see my kid's face if they see a huge pumpkin. Now, you know, you have to put in some work to get one that big, but guys, I would well settle for just a good, any pumpkin looks big when you're little like my kids are. So I want to just be able to grow some pumpkins and have that be fun for them and hopefully have some success, because honestly, I have not really had much success with growing big pumpkins, but I haven't put a lot of effort in. So hopefully this year we can get some good success with pumpkins. Okay, so in a few weeks, not too long away, we're gonna start planting some peas. I have multiple varieties of peas. I think in this bucket I have some that I grew last year. If I could find them, I can't remember. Yeah, so last year we grew the Green Beauties, and one of the reasons I want to grow these is because they produce purple flowers, and I just think that's like totally beautiful. So I wanted to grow those last year because I thought that would be really pretty, but I want to try these. These are called the Sugar Bond peas. These are also an heirloom. I think these are going to be fun. They don't grow as tall. They get to like 1 to 2 feet tall, but they're supposed to be really prolific, and my kids love peas. So we're going to grow a bunch of these in buckets. Hopefully they'll do better than we had in the fall. The fall was a disaster with peas. Did not work out. Spring was great. Fall was not so good. So we're going to try these. I don't know if it was my seeds because they didn't do well in the buckets. They didn't do well on the ground. It was very odd. I've never had that big of an issue with seeds, and I planted like, I had to have planted like 60 or 70 peas, and like, I don't know if it was just, I don't know what happened, but it was not good. So anywho, I'm excited for growing these in buckets and having a really prolific harvest and having my kids really enjoy them. Okay, another thing my kids love, I love, my husband loves, one of the favorites, the thing that he is looking forward to is beans, okay? And we love green beans. We love them sauteed, salt, pepper, garlic, you know, in a pan with butter. Oh my goodness. If you don't like green beans, but you have not put salt, pepper, garlic, and butter on them, like, that's the problem, you know? That's what you need to do. But we are growing 2 different kinds. The 2 kinds we are growing, one is, once again, see if I can try it, but the Canter is one of them that we're growing, and that is an heirloom. This is really good. It's really basic bean, and we really like the flavor. It was good fried up. It was good fresh. But something that was really special that we had last year that my husband didn't love it as much when it was sauteed because it was sweeter, but it was something that we really enjoyed fresh eating. It was honestly one of the most special beans I've ever tasted. I know that sounds silly, but it's like, it really is like, oh wow, like stop you in your tracks, go, that's really impressive how good that tastes. So this is called the Kalima, And guys, if you have not tried this, it's so good. This is a bush bean. It's very productive, and honestly, it's so good. I mean, the flavor is like sweet and amazing. It's really special. So these are from Baker Creek. Give them a shot. They're so good, guys. So if you want to try eating green beans just fresh, or your family likes doing that, I definitely recommend them. They're sweet. They're really, really special. Like, I cannot recommend them enough. But the other ones we have for growing, my husband preferred because of sauteing, and they were really good too. So we're gonna be growing the Canter as well. Okay, we're getting down more to the odds and ends. One of the things I'm going to try this year, I'm not super excited. It's so weird. I get excited pretty much about growing everything. This is one of those things that I'm kind of like, I don't even want to grow, but I'm going to do it because I think I said I was going to do it again this year. So we're going to grow onions. I'm dedicated to learning how to grow onions well, and carrots. Those are two things in my mind that I want to be successful at. We're probably skipping carrots this year. Maybe we'll try them in the fall, we'll see. But anyways, onions. I was going to order these online, but once again, I was in the store today to get some of these. Here in Tennessee, our days are shorter, so we do the short day onions. This is called a Texas Grano. I have no idea if it's good, but we're gonna try it because it's the only short day onion that they had in the store. And I don't even know why they're selling long day onions. Like, why are you selling long day onions in Tennessee? I don't know, but whatever. Anyways, this is what we'll be growing this year. We're gonna give it a shot, see if we can get some onions that are bigger than last year. Last year, I started them from seed. Things happened. I ended up going and switching and taking like a turn to do sets, and they were super tiny and super disappointing, and I have a feeling I'm not the only one who's had that problem. Okay, let's talk melon. So last year we grew watermelon, and I had let my toddler, who was like, not last year, but the year before, he was low. He's like he was like 3, you know, and I let him pick on pictures what watermelon he wanted to grow. Cause like, why did I do that? I don't know, but I thought it'd be fun. So I let him do that. And of course he picks this tiny little seedless, adorable watermelon that fits into somebody's hands, cause he just thinks that's super cute, right? So he wanted to grow that. And when I got the seeds, it was like, you had to have special amounts of diploid and triploid. And I was like, not doing it. And so last year I just didn't have it. I think I was pregnant too, so I was like, I just don't want to do this. Last year we did grow them. They were amazing. I loved them, but I was nervous that some had died and that I had maybe mixed up the diploid and triploid and it wasn't going to work. And so I had bought another seed packet to try as well, just as like a backup, but then ended up leaving them, and they were great. And guys, the Ocelot, it comes from Johnny Select Seeds. It was a little more expensive, but it was really awesome. And one of the reasons I loved it is because it was small. I could cut up the whole thing. It really was. They were like this big. They're tiny, but perfect for cutting up for the family, enjoying like as a snack for, you know, I mean, my kids were pounding it down. So they loved it. But I had picked up a extra one, and I'm just going to grow these this year because I already had them. They're heirloom. But they are not a small seedless one. They are ginormous. So this is called a strawberry watermelon. I've heard good things. It's supposed to be really amazing flavor. These things can get up to 25 pounds. I don't even, like, what does that even look like? A 25-pound watermelon? That's a small child. So we're gonna see how that goes. And hopefully it's delicious, and hopefully it's super fun. Once again, picking something that's 25 pounds out of the garden for your kids to see and enjoy, and cutting it open with a chainsaw or an axe. I mean, that's the way to do it. That's summer, you know, when you think about it. So anyways, another thing that goes along with summer is corn. And we're going to talk about that in a second, actually. I was going to skip corn, but I almost forgot cantaloupe. So let's talk cantaloupe. I have not really had success with cantaloupe. I've only tried it once. We have clay soil here in Tennessee. So I will actually be trying to do this in a 10-gallon bucket here at the house. We're going to see what happens, you know? Worst case scenario, nothing happens, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. So we're going to try those, and that way I can control the soil. They like sandier soils, and so I'm hoping we can have great success and be able to cut up in some yummy cantaloupe. We're not going to get a ton growing it in a bucket, but we'll get enough for our family to enjoy throughout the summer. The kind we are growing is called an ambrosia one. I got it from Burpee. It's a hybrid one, so we're trying that out this year. We'll see if we like it. If not, we can try another one next year. Okay, so moving on to corn, a classic summer staple. Guys, last year I grew like our favorite corn ever. And when I went to go order it this year from Johnny Seeds, I was too slow and they were out of stock, and I was super sad. So I did not get the kind I wanted. I looked at other kinds from Johnny Seeds, and I didn't even order from Johnny's this year because they can sometimes be a little pricier, plus you have to pay shipping, plus your tax, and it just seemed like I was getting 3 seed packets from them for the same price that I was getting like 10 from Baker Creek. And I just like, I don't know. So I got a little bit better of a sale from Burpee. It wasn't much better, but I got a little bit better and got some different things from there. And then ended up just kind of changing my plan. So I got a different type of corn. We're gonna see if it's good. This corn is literally just called Sweetness Hybrid. So we'll see if it's any good. We got it. The other one that we got last year that was so good, I think it was called Natural Sweet. It was organic corn from Johnny Seeds. If you ever get the chance to buy it, it's so good. It's an extra sweet one, so it has to be secluded from other corn kinds so it doesn't get messed up with the kernels, but it's so worth it. It really is the most sweet corn on the cob. It was amazing. This one that we're getting this year is obviously, this name is Sweetness Hybrid. It's supposed to be sweet. Hopefully it'll be really good and really enjoyable. We'll see what we get. If not, we'll be a little sad. We loved and just enjoyed that corn so much. But we have a video about how to properly kind of grow corn as far as getting it to pollinate. And we'll probably do that again this year just to really set that home, because there's really good tips to help you grow corn successfully. Yeah, it just needs a little bit more attention than I think most people tend to give it. One last odd and end before we get into herbs is we're gonna try this. When I was on Burpee, I could not resist. I saw this and I've been wanting to do this for a few years. At least last year, I think it was in my mind, and maybe the year before. So I am doing this because I can't wait to see my kid's face if it works out. Peanuts. We're gonna try growing peanuts this year. So we're gonna they grow in the ground like potatoes. They grow underground. We're gonna lift this thing out, there's gonna be peanuts on there. And I just think my kids will think that's like the coolest thing ever. And I really want them to be excited about growing food and gardening and understand where this all comes from. And, you know, it just, for me, it makes me just go, wow, like how amazing is the Lord, you know, that He has created all this. And so I just want them to be able to enjoy that as much as I do if they want to, and just have that chance to. But we're gonna be growing those this year. That's more of a fun crop, but hey, we'll see what we get. We might get enough for, you know, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. So we'll see what happens. And that's just more for fun. So let's get on to the herbs that we'll be growing. Okay, so this isn't totally an herb. It's a flower. And but we'll be trying to maybe make it into tea. In worst case scenario, it's just pretty to look at. So we're gonna be doing some echinacea this year. Echinacea is a perennial. It can be used as even like a medicinal herb and things, or medicinal flower as well for teas and things like that. But yeah, we're gonna grow it and just try and make some tea for fun and things like that. You know, whether, you know, I'm not here to give any advice on medicinal herbs at all by any means, or medicinal flowers or anything like that. But that's what it's also well known for. And so the roots and the flower petals can be used in tea. And so we're going to do that a little bit this year. At least use the petals. The roots you usually give, I think, a couple years to get bigger. But they're perennials. So we're going to grow these, and that should be fun. And like I said, worst case scenario, we just get a pretty flower to look at, and if we don't end up using them for tea. Okay, next, another garden staple, I think, is basil. This is the Genovese. This is a classic Italian basil. This is what you're going to use in your sauces, your pizza, things like that. It's really, really good, really classic, and I think one of the easiest herbs you can try and grow. Along the lines of basil is another type of basil that is really, really special, but it's not for pizzas or sauce. It's the blue spice basil. This is also from Baker Creek, and it is actually sweet. And some people call this holy basil. You might hear people refer to it as that, but it actually has kind of like a vanilla type flavor. You can make like a cold brew tea with this as well. It's supposed to be like really delicious. So basil tea is made, if you ever hear of basil tea or you go out somewhere and they have basil tea, this is the type of basil they were growing. So it's called blue spice basil. It's a beautiful basil. It's just really special in the way, even just smelling it fresh, you can smell the sweetness from it. So we'll be growing some of this year for fun. Okay. Thyme, we'll be growing this for some fresh herbs in our cooking, and maybe if we get enough, even dry some of that, because we use thyme pretty often for soups and things like that. Another classic, rosemary. You can't go without rosemary. This is as well a pretty hardy perennial, so I'm really excited to be growing, as that's more of a perennial like oregano can be too. So rosemary, though, is much hardier, and so I'm excited to grow this and hopefully have this for years or be able to save cuttings or whatever. And this is a little bit tricky to germinate, but we're going to hopefully have success this year. As well, we're going to be doing dill. I did a dill bouquet is what I ordered from Seeds and Such. This will be great. I just wanted to grow this so I could already have this to use for my pickles. I just thought that would be nicer and probably cheaper. To buy this seed packet was probably the same prices that I spent on buying dill last year for pickles. And if I can grow it in my own garden and have it, I mean, that's just so cool. And I love the smell of dill. And I'm pretty sure dill is one of those really big volunteers, so I have a feeling that this is going to be spreading, so hopefully the neighbors don't mind. Last is an oregano, a Greek oregano. I want to dry this, have this cooking, and just really enjoy those herbs. Fresh herbs, if you have not cooked with fresh herbs, which I understand not doing that, like we've always been on a budget, and that wasn't just something that we did growing up as much. So except for with maybe basil in the summer would be used in dishes, I didn't grow up necessarily thinking, oh, fresh herbs. Oh my goodness, it's such a game changer if you cook with fresh herbs. We don't do it often. That's not something that's like commonplace in our house, but when we have done it, we've thought like, wow, this is like totally different and so much superior. So like just having dry herbs on chicken versus fresh herbs, or on a fish with lemon. I mean, it's just so much, it's just so different. So really enjoyable. That's just really fun, and hopefully we'll get to enjoy that this summer with our cooking. Well guys, as far as seeds go, that is what we will be starting, but I figured I'd give you a little update and show you some of the fruit that is growing as well in our greenhouse, which you can see behind us here, this little thing that I built. If you have not watched that video, I just put that out on how to build that. Our strawberries are going to go in there. We'll plant those here soon for the spring, but it's not quite time for that. But you know what it's also not time for? For my fruits to be blooming. But let me show you how well my greenhouse is working here. Guys, this greenhouse, the plastic has gotten a little loose from this crazy wind we have had, but look at this. Here's my problem. My slight issue is my greenhouse is working so well that this fruit tree, it thinks that it's already spring. It is already looking like it has some buds on it, and yeah, it's just amazing. This one is already starting to look that way too. Buds here starting on the ends. You can also see all our blueberries over there being protected from the cold. We had some serious cold snaps, and so we've had these in here being protected from all the cold. And guys, even though this is not like the absolutely coolest greenhouse in the world, it has worked so well in protecting all of our plants from the harsh cold that we had this year and the cold snaps we've had and the single digits that we've had. And so I am like so happy with it. It's so much warmer in here. And it's not like a perfectly sealed out greenhouse, but it is so much better. So we've been having these in here just because, you know, when you're growing in buckets, especially something like fruit that you want to last year after year, it can be more challenging because you don't want it to have like to totally freeze up and kill these plants and it to be too cold. And so I have buckets over here that have nothing in them, that have just been out, and the soil got frozen, rock hard, totally frozen like ice. And so, you know, I'm going to revamp the soil this year when I fill up all these buckets. But the thing is that I don't want that to happen to my trees, to my blueberry bushes, and so I want them to be protected, and this has been so helpful. So if you want to check out the video on how we did that, just to give you some ideas on jumping off points, we also have a video on how we created the greenhouse too. Guys, thanks for tuning in while we talked about seeds and had a little chat about the garden. We're really excited to be growing. We have a lot that we're growing this year, a lot of seeds to get started, and I'm just so excited for the beauty of summer, to enjoy the garden, to enjoy all the plants that we'll be growing and the harvest, and we're just so excited about it, guys. Well, the wind is telling me it is time to go inside, so thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. It's a great way in supporting us and what we are doing. We're so thankful for you guys. We have finally reached 1,000 subscribers. We're thankful to have you with us and this journey of growing food for our family and working with what we have and all that we're learning. And if there's anything we can share with you, we want to do that and encourage you while you encourage us. And we're just thankful. Thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for supporting us. And until next time, guys, we'll see you soon.